Welcome to Ecclesia Domestica, practices related to marriage. We know there are different and various practices related to St. Thomas Christian marriage. Special thing is that when the children get mature to get married, parents take initiative for the marriage. That is the tradition we have in St. Thomas Christian traditions. And there are lot of ceremonies connected to it. Or we can say, giving children in marriage was very ceremonial. And most of the customs related to Indian culture. The very first thing we should remember is that traditionally our St. Thomas Christian marriages are arranged marriages. When we look into the history of the world, till 18th century we find a fixed marriage in most of the places in the world. After the Renaissance or after the 18th century, the liberation movement started, then we find this kind of planning marriage as love marriage and children finding their own partner. So that started much later, but still, we the St. Thomas Christians still follow the arranged marriage system in our family. So in the arranged marriage, what we find first is that a fixing ceremony. That means normally when a proposal comes, or nowadays through the marriage websites are there, matrimonial sites are there, or even through a marriage broker, or through relatives or friends, they come to know about a girl or a boy. So, what happens first is that the boy's family means parents, sibling, and if possible some elders, male elders, visit girl's family and they meet girl. So that itself is called Pennuganal Chadanga. So meeting the girl first time. And they go back and they will then inform the boy's family will inform girl's family, or vice versa. Both the families come into an agreement whether they go ahead with this marriage or not, whether they liked each other, the boy liked the girl and the girl liked the boy. So that consent how it is, and if it is okay to go ahead, then the boy and the girl they give like a consent, and then after knowing the will of the boy and the girl and also the families, after that they move ahead with the Orapical Chadang or fixing the marriage. Most of the families know very well, but for the youngsters mainly I'm talking about it. So, what is fixing the marriage? So, fixing the marriage is after, as I said, the boy and girl and the families they are in a way they think that this marriage alliance or this is good, and families are okay with it. So they then the girl's family along with parents, sibling, and male elders, mainly uncles. They go together and visit boy's family, and we know that they also arrange a good sumptuous meal for them. And at that time, mainly they speak about the marriage, and they fix the marriage, the date they are fixing for the engagement and for the marriage. Then they before they go for fixing marriage nowadays, they make sure the availability of parish hall or maybe the reception hall wherever they conduct it for the engagement and marriage. And they also, before fixing the marriage, they consult with the parish priest of the concerned parishes. Because for the engagement and marriage, whether the parish priest is available or the all other procedures should be done. So the consent of the parish priest also they take in advance before they go for fixing the marriage. I'm saying all these details because all those people who are waiting for the marriage can follow this, because as I'm a parish priest, so I'm speaking very frankly towards the family and also to the boys and girls who are waiting still to get married. So you can follow it. And so, fixing the marriage is a ceremony with prayer. They begin and they pray well, and the elders take the initiative to speak about their terms and conditions. Not condition actually, but terms of all those things. And here they mention mainly about the what the girl's family would give as the share of her father's property. As we have seen earlier about the St. Thomas family traditions, normally the sons share the property of the father, but whereas the girl children, they are when they are given in marriage, some share of the property of the father is given in kind like gold or in money. So what they are going to give to this girl, that is also is fixed on that. That's why it is called fixing the marriage or a pickle. So the dates are fixed and where it is going to be conducted, and when it is conducted, the engagement and marriage, and what are the share of property of what the girl's family is going to give. So that is also fixed by the in the presence of the elders. So that is our tradition, and that is being still followed in our Christian tradition. We no more call it as a dowry or something, because it is legally the girl is eligible to get the share of property of her father. Therefore, it's a share of the property, and we have been doing from the very beginning also. Yeah. Then, after fixing the ceremony, we know naturally it is engagement ceremony. So, engagement ceremony is normally taking place at the parish or the residence of girls' family and parish. Here nowadays it is almost celebrated equally, engagement ceremony as well as marriage, but legally it is different. So the engagement time, the boy and girl give consent before the family members in the church, before the before a priest, and it is celebrated outside Holy Kurbana normally. But when a relative priest is there, or a sibling priest is there, or even a family friend, a priest is there for conducting the engagement with the consent or with the permission of the parish priest, then normally they celebrate the Holy Kurbana. So I'm saying all this is because it can arise in our parish also. Maybe for the engagement, they may be the concerned family will come and say we need this Holy Kurbana also along with this. But the point is that normally, and in the if you take the liturgy of the engagement also, it is conducted outside Holy Kurbana, because Holy Kurbana is not necessary along with this sacramental. This is only a blessing, and also exchange of the rings normally is done in our tradition. And we also have to be proud of being Syro-Malabar or St. Thomas Christian, because this is particular ceremony for our tradition. Because for the Latin Church, they don't have this engagement ceremony. What they do now, after the Mass, they may have a small prayer, and they may exchange the rings in the same congregation and of the same congregation who gathered for the Holy Mass. Or they conduct this engagement even at the residence of girl, or even the reception hall also, because priests go there and do. But as a very ceremonial liturgy, we have particularly we have this engagement ceremony, and we celebrate it separately as engagement. In Malayalam, we say Uttukalyanam. So that is our another the custom or practice related to marriage. So engagement. Then there is another particular thing called going for the engagement ceremony, or maybe for the marriage also. When the bride and bridegroom, they before they move out of their home, they have a very special prayer before they before this wedding, before the wedding. So going to the church for wedding, they have a prayer which will be led by the elders, and before the bride or bridegroom leave out of the house, they after the prayer they greet each and greet the elder, from the eldest to the youngest, Ishomishihaiges to the Arigate. This is very emotional way of greeting, and normally we know that people really cry when they give Ishomishihaiges to the Arigate. And also the elders wish them back God's blessing. And this is a great way of Indian tradition also, we can say, getting blessing from the elders and parents before they go into this marriage ceremony. So after receiving the blessing of all, we go and receive the sacrament or the engagement as a preparation for the marriage. They are giving the consent with the blessing of all. So all these things are lacking when people take their own decision and go into the marriage or do the registered marriage. All when they do these things out of the consent of the family and the society, what they are lacking is actually the blessings of the elders and their own siblings and the family members, and at the most the blessings from the church, the priestly blessing also. So therefore we advise our children also, see, you get married with the blessing of your parents. You get married in the church, in the Catholic Church, in the Catholic way, and with all the blessings of the priest and of the church. So all the church, especially the parish, is praying for you when the banns are announced and all those things are done. So people are praying for you for a good, happy, blessed marriage. So there's a special prayer and Ishomishia Studi Cholliga before going for the ceremony of engagement and marriage. So that's also very particular, very special thing for us. And wedding processions. In earlier times, we had this wedding processions. You see, nowadays we find the processions of this Maharashtrian marriage and Jaipur marriage. They sit on the horseback and they have a procession, or they make a palak, and bride or bridegroom can sit in that, and people will carry them. So the same way in the past, high privilege were used by St. Thomas Christians, like using palak, elephants to ride on, royal silk umbrella, day lamps, and walking cloths, or traditional drums, shouts of joy, all those things, that Nadavili, and bodyguards or foreigners to clear the way, carpets, ornaments, all those things were part of this wedding processions. So before they go for wedding, all those things were there. So we can consider that at that time vehicles were not very common. So by walk or by procession, people go to the church, and for the marriage also the same thing followed. So all those things were there. That's why even that old saying is Ani Ambari. So all those things are connected with this. And what is beautiful in Kottayam diocesan tradition is that still they follow this processional part of that shouting of joy, Nadavili, by men and Kurava by women. So this is part of their marriage ceremony till today. So they hold to it for this Kottayam diocesan marriage ceremony. If you attend it, you can really you can um, uh, you know it how they celebrate it. Yeah. And wedding processions, as we said, this was part of our tradition at that time. But nowadays we don't have, because we have switched over our traditional procession into luxurious cars and processions. So that all came in the course of time. So we cannot blame anything. But this was our in the initially we had all these things as procession, part of procession. So here, when I conclude that we can remember that arranged marriages were part of our tradition, and still our Malabar families are holding to it, keeping this tradition of arranged marriage. Then fixing ceremony is there at the boys' residence, and Pendaganal is boys' family and elders of the family go and meet girl at her residence. An engagement ceremony is there. This is celebrated in a large scale nowadays as equal to marriage celebration, but legally it is different. And it is only just giving consent and also exchange of rings. Then going to the church for wedding. Before that, all the family members pray together and they greet each other, from eldest to the siblings, youngest. And going to the church for and also wedding procession, as I mentioned, this is also there. So, in our the church way of conducting marriage, we should remember one thing: we are the boy and girl, or bride and bridegroom. They are not giving consent twice, but it is thrice. At the time of fixing the marriage, they give consent. Both the families also agree the consent of bride and bridegroom, or girl and boy, and at the time of engagement, then at the time of wedding with the Holy Kurbana. There are three times boy and girl, bride and bridegroom give consent before the congregation.